The auction in City Inn, a gathering of the city's elite, pulsed with fervent energy. Crystal chandeliers cast a brilliant light, illuminating the elegantly attired guests engaged in animated conversation. Yet, beneath the veneer of this refined occasion, a malicious conspiracy targeting me lay hidden. My private photographs were being presented as exclusive auction items, brazenly displayed on the large screen. The moment I saw the photographs, my mind went blank. My blood seemed to turn to ice, followed by an overwhelming surge of anger and humiliation. I glanced around desperately, seeking any sign of assistance, my gaze falling upon Joseph, my childhood friend. He, at that moment, was preoccupied with amusing Angela, the woman at his side, a smug expression on his face as he directed his cronies to bid higher and higher for my private photographs, as if it were a mere game. My dignity and suffering were clearly worthless in his estimation. Utterly desperate, my hands trembling, I retrieved my phone and dialed Michael, another childhood friend. The instant the call connected, I clutched at it as if it were a lifeline, my voice breaking with sobs as I pleaded, "Michael, you have to help me. My private photographs are being auctioned off. It's Joseph, he." Michael's voice, laced with reassurance, came quickly over the line. "Irene, don't panic. I'm on my way." During a recess at the auction, I retreated to the lounge, hoping to collect my scattered thoughts. As I passed a room, the conversation emanating from within stopped me in my tracks. "You always have the most ingenious ideas. You secretly photographed Irene's private moments while she was drowning her sorrows with you. Now that we have this leverage, let's see if she dares to cross Angela again." I recognized Joseph's voice. I didn't personally take the photographs, I outsourced the task. Michael's response caused my heart to plummet. So, it turns out that my abduction by villains 2 months ago, those 3 days and nights of unrelenting torment and humiliation, were all part of their meticulously orchestrated scheme to curry favor with Angela and gain leverage over me. It's just a few photos, nothing significant. When Irene comes to you for help later, be sure to play your part convincingly. Don't betray the act. Joseph continued. I shook my head with a bitter, despairing smile. Slowly, I returned my phone to my bag and dragged my leaden feet back to the auction hall. The auctioneer, standing on the stage, announced in a booming voice, "Miss Irene, will you continue with the Sky Lantern punishment and bid for your own photographs?" I lifted my gaze and met Joseph's. His eyes held no remorse, only cold indifference and cruel amusement. I inhaled deeply, my voice resolute yet trembling slightly. "I concede. I relinquish this futile contest, and with it, all the illusions I once harbored about them. The friendship I once treasured is now irrevocably broken. I know it is time to abandon everything and begin anew." The instant I spoke, Joseph's face contorted with rage. His eyes widened, as if he couldn't believe I would make such a decision. "Irene, are you deliberately trying to humiliate yourself? So eager to surrender your private photographs to just anyone?" He spat the words out venomously. I gazed at him, anguish etched on my face, my voice laced with profound disappointment. "Weren't these private photographs you who put up for auction? How dare you utter such words?" Joseph, rendered speechless by my accusation, roared in mortified fury. "Don't spout such nonsense. It's patently because you lack self-respect and cavort about that you were captured in these photographs. And now you dare to lay the blame at my feet." Angela, who stood beside him, added her voice to the fray. "Irene, Joseph has always been so good to you. How could you possibly slander him in this way?" With that, she feigned wiping away non-existent tears, her affected display filling me with utter revulsion. No longer able to bear their charade, I turned and hastened away. Just then, my phone began to ring incessantly. I knew, without looking, that it was Michael. "Michael, what role do you intend to play now? Will you continue to wound me alongside Joseph, or will you offer hollow words of comfort?" I arrived outside the auction venue and took a deep breath, striving to compose myself before answering the phone. "Irene, I heard about it. Why didn't you come to me sooner? I would have definitely helped you," Michael said over the phone, his tone laced with anxiety. But at this point, I could no longer bring myself to trust his words so readily. "How, precisely, would you help?" I responded icily. Oblivious to the frigidity in my voice, Michael continued, "Don't worry, I'll handle the photos. I can definitely get them back for you. However, as you know, Joseph and I are indebted to Angela's mother for saving our lives when we were children, and we wish to repay that debt. Of course, I know, they never cease to remind everyone of this debt. In their childhood, they were kidnapped, and Angela's mother tragically died while saving them. Ever since, they have been excessively protective of Angela. Whenever a conflict arises between Angela and myself, I am invariably the one expected to yield. Throughout the years, they have relentlessly repaid this supposed debt, yet they have never once considered my feelings. Through my own arduous efforts, I finally earned the opportunity to enter the research institute, to prove my worth and escape their influence. But Angela sought them out again, demanding that I relinquish this year's sole recruitment position at the research institute to her. When I refused, they resorted to such a despicable scheme. Perhaps I truly can no longer remain in their orbit. This place, once perceived as a sanctuary, has become a prison that inflicts pain." Michael continued to prattle on. "Just give Angela the research institute position. With me around, you can have anything your heart desires." Instinctively, my fingers went to the necklace at my throat, the one my mother bequeathed to me on her deathbed. It was my most cherished possession. My mother, in her final moments, implored me not to blame Joseph and Michael, assuring me they would care for me always. But now, it seems everything has been irrevocably altered. Biting back my anguish, I fought to control the tremor in my voice. "Very well," I conceded, "I agree." Overjoyed by my acquiescence, Michael exclaimed, "Excellent, Irene, you're being so understanding." With that, he abruptly ended the call. I hung up the phone, wiped the tears from my face, and sent a message to my teacher Mr. Moore at the Research Institute. "Mr. Moore, I'm willing to accept the foreign assignment from the Research Institute. I'll leave with you on Saturday." After sending the message, I knew my life was about to undergo a significant change. Although the future is uncertain, I'd rather face the unknown risks tasks than remain in this place that causes me such pain. I returned home and was in my room packing, preparing to leave this place of heartbreak. Just then, Joseph and Angela walked in. Joseph watched me packing and sneered. I assumed you possessed more resolve, that you were actually capable of leaving our family. I hadn't imagined you were so brazen, willing to forfeit your position at the Research Institute merely to remain here. He presumed I was returning items to their original places, intending to stay. Angela, clinging to Joseph's arm, feigned concern. Oh, Joseph, please don't speak that way. Irene has simply enjoyed following you since childhood and desires to remain near you. Joseph sneered. What merit is there in being desired by a woman of such questionable character? I cannot fathom how Joseph, the boy with whom I played and grew up, could become this man. What offense have I committed to warrant such treatment? I inquired, my voice trembling with suppressed emotion. Joseph faltered, clearly taken aback by my directness. In truth, this entire charade was orchestrated between him and Michael, yet my seeking assistance from Michael clearly discomfited him. Have I spoken amiss? You have subsisted on my generosity since childhood, and now that you have found your wings, you seek to depart? Is it not merely to indulge in wanton pursuits? His agitation mounted with each word, culminating in a violent kick that overturned the box at the foot of my bed. The box's contents spilled across the floor, dolls, ornaments, all tokens once gifted to me by him and Michael. These gifts, once emblems of cherished memories, have now become instruments of his humiliation. TCH, I had overestimated your resolve. When the moment of departure arrives, you find yourself unable to relinquish these trifles. He didn't even notice the label waste product on the box. Angela rolled her eyes at me, then said to Joseph with affected sweetness, Michael has already made reservations. Let's change quickly, darling, and not keep him waiting. Joseph immediately adopted a tender expression, stroking Angela's hair. Angela then turned to me, saying, Irene, please don't misunderstand. They're simply celebrating my new position at the Research Institute. It's nothing more than that. Joseph glanced at me, and, seeing I didn't respond, said with ill-concealed impatience, why waste your breath on her? A jobless good-for-nothing. She'll have to ingratiate herself with us just to survive. With that, they ignored me and left after changing clothes. The next day, I went out to complete the formalities and encountered Alan, a colleague from the Research Institute, along the way. Alan, noticing the documents in my hand, seemed surprised. I didn't think you'd actually agree to go, he said. The Research Institute's foreign assignment is notoriously difficult. I had been hesitant, unwilling to sever my ties with Joseph and Michael, but now, I have no attachments. I must take responsibility for my future. After completing the formalities, I followed Alan to the Research Institute to discuss research protocols with Mr. Moore in advance. I encountered Angela and the others at the entrance to the Research Institute. Michael looked surprised to see me. Irene, he said, didn't you promise you wouldn't come here? Not wanting to cause a scene, I replied. Mr. Moore has always been very kind to me, and I wanted to apologize to her personally. Angela, however, persisted. The Research Institute is only accepting one candidate this year, and it's not open to just anyone. I've already met with Mr. Moore and we discussed the matter. She shook the documents in her hand, a smug expression on her face. Alan, disapproving of her attitude, stated, the Research Institute values both ability and character highly in its recruitment process. His words caused Angela's face to flush crimson. Michael, visibly displeased, said, Irene, since when have you associated with such people? He should apologize to Angela immediately. I introduced him without expression. This is Senior Sue from the Research Institute, and he is one of the key project leaders. Hearing this, Angela's face immediately transformed into a smile. Oh, you're Senior Sue. Hello, I'm Angela, and I'll be your junior colleague from now on. Alan didn't even spare her a glance, and left with me. Angela, enraged, stamped her feet behind us. Michael watched my retreating figure, his expression a complex mixture of emotions. He leisurely retrieved his phone and dialed a number. Proceed with the plan we discussed. Move quickly, I want those materials disseminated across the internet within the half hour.